So we discussed transform, we discussed sprite render, animator, tile map, collider, rigid body. Now it's time to discuss UI elements and how to use those. Okay. So the first thing to create UI, first you need the canvas to put the UI in. So let's just right click UI and make a canvas. And now I'll show you something very important. This canvas that holds the UI can be over everything in the game, or it can actually be in the world space. So for example, let's say we want to have a HP bar on top of the player. Here in render mode, right now it's over everything, this canvas, but you can select world space here, and now you can place this canvas inside the scene on a certain layer, like the sprite render. As you see, you have a sorting layer, so a layer and a sub layer. So this will be kind of like a sprite. You can place it on a certain layer in the world space. But we'll discuss right now UI over everything. So stuff like score, HP in some corner, maybe a game over screen, transitions from one scene to another, stuff like that. So important. You have to here where it says UI scale mode, constant pixel size. This means this canvas will only work on a certain resolution, but we want the UI elements to stretch and adapt to different screen resolutions. So we use scale with screen size, and I like to give it full HD here. It's a very common resolution. So that will stretch the canvas to certain screen sizes. And then inside here, you can just right click UI and create your UI. So that's the canvas. Let's see. Yes, let's discuss the text component. So for text, in older versions of Unity, you have the text objects from Unity, but Unity now uses TextMesh Pro. So you have to first import it to the Unity. So when you create it, it will ask you to import it. And I recommend that you import here the examples and extras, because this will give you extra fonts, which are very much better than the default one. So now we have this text here in the scene, but let me just make it. So we have direct transform. This is not the usual transform from sprites and objects in the world space. This is just for UI. So you see this image here in the corner, that is for stretching or positioning an UI. So if right now it's in the center, this will just, regardless of the resolution, this will place it in the center of the screen. But you can also stretch it. So right now with this here, it will just place it in the middle of the screen, but it will not stretch it. So let's go to our UI here. So you double click on the element to go to the UI interface here. So like that, it will just be placed in the middle, but it will not stretch. So to stretch it, we actually have to take these anchors here. These are anchors. This will help to position and stretch UI. So now if I do this, not only this, it will be in the center, but it will also stretch with screen size. But I'm not an expert at this. I recommend you check some videos on YouTube about this. I'm not an expert at anchors. So let's look at this. Let's look at this rect transform. You have the position on the X, and Y, the Z, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. Maybe sometimes you want to place some UI on top of another. Um, and since we don't have layers, you might have to use this z value. Then this is the size of it, so you can increase the width and height, and you can also do that from the scale here. So if I put to here, now it's double that size, and you don't have to worry about the z because this is just text. It's a 2D object. Let's see, rotation. Almost all the time you just use the z like you do in the sprite renderer to rotate it. So you can modify the size by using the scale here or the width and height in this case. Then we have the text component here. This is the value of the text, so what message we are displaying. So some message, let's say. And you see because the size of this is too small, the text does not fit. So you have to make sure that it fits like that by modifying the width and the height. And now let's see what we have here. I don't know what the text style is, but here you have the font. You can modify the font. As you can see. Then we have, obviously you can make it italic, bold, underline it. You have the size of the font, so you can drag this to decrease the size or increase the size of the font. And this is very important. You have auto size here. This will stretch the size of the font, and you can give it a minimum value and a maximum value here, like that. And then you can change the color of it here. And there are many options here for the color. Alignment, very important. You can align the text like in a Word document, so you can center it like this, for example. And you can give it outline somewhere in here, I'm sure. Yeah, you have outline. So if I increase this, you see now it has outline. Yeah, you have some visual effects here. But now let's go to the. This is very simple. The only thing you need to know actually about there are actually two things you need to know about the text when it comes to code. So first, if you're using the new text, which I'm sure most versions have this, you have to say here on the top use TM Pro. So using the text from not from Unity, from Text Mesh Pro. So to create a text variable, you just say tmp text and give it a name, some text, and then let's use the start function to get it. So like any other component, you just say oh, actually in this case we have the component in a variable, so we have it here. But let's say we don't have it and we want to get it from an object. Okay, you just say that is equal, you select the object, so you select whatever object you want, the object that has that component, and use the get component to get it, like that, like any other component. But in this case, let's say we have it in this variable. To modify the text is very simple. You just say some text equal, and then you specify some text. So with this you can oh, my bad, you say the name of that text component, and then you say text, that text. And here you can so for example, if I say this, the text will be some text, but let's say we want to combine to add some other text to this text. Let's say we have an integer, so some integer, and we want to add this to we want to add this integer to the text as a string. So we just say plus, that will add whatever text you put next, and we say that integer and convert it to string like this. So now this becomes a string, and that can also be used for float. Floats can also convert to string using this here. So you specify the name of your variable and say that string, and that will convert it to string. So that's how you write, how you change the text by script. Now, to enable or disable this object, now you have two options. One is you say some text enabled is false, so that will disable the text component. So disable the text component. But if you want to disable the whole object, you say that text that game object set active false, and that will disable the whole object. So you can disable components or you can disable the whole object. And that's it about text. Now let's go further and discuss buttons. So let's create a button. Now the button comes with the Text Mesh Pro as well. I'll just resize it a little bit so that it's visible. Okay, let's see. So like text, this one has anchors, has a position, so it has this rect transform here, like the text. And now the image below the text, so the white square, it's an image actually, but you can change that whatever you want. So let's say we want to put a texture here, like that. If you want, so you have two options. Like in sprites, these images are of different types. Okay. So you have simple, style. Let's say we want this to be a texture below the text. We use the tile and add our texture. Let's say we want the green one. That. And then you here specify the pixels per unit. The bigger the value, the smaller the texture it seems to be. So that's how you add textures to an image. And then this is the image below, and this image you also have the button component. So here, very important, you have the interactable property. So this means basically if you can interact with it, if you can click on it. Now when you click this button, let's make the text white and put a nice font on it. When you click it, it has some visual effect. So let me show you what that is. So I'll just click this button, and it has some visual effect. It will modify the color of that image below the text. You see, you click it, and it has that visual effect. And you can change that in many ways. In here where it says transition, and you have these colors here. So here you can customize the visual effect when you click the button. And you see here where it says on click, you can add some code here so that it happens when you click the button. So you can add functions here, public functions. And let me demonstrate how to do that. I'll just create an empty object here, call it test script. Add that script here. And let's create some, let me, I'll just delete the stuff in here, okay? So let's, wait, what am I doing? Yes, how to add a function. So let's add the function that changes that text, okay? So let's save the text in this variable, delete this stuff, and make a function. We'll say public void change text, we'll call it change text, and we'll say that that text becomes like something different here. Okay, that's the only thing that this button will do. So now that we have a public function on a script that is in the scene somewhere on an object, now we can go to that button, and here we can add that function. So we click plus to add the function. Then we need the object that has the script. So here we have to select that from the scene. Wait. Test. Yes, this one is the object, and then the function from that. So then we have to select which script. So we want the test script, and then what function. So we want the change text function. Okay. But now let's add our text here that we want to modify. You see, we cannot because this is a private variable. So we have to say serial field that will display it even though it's private. We can either do this or say public, like that. It's not the same, but this will display it in the inspector. So public means you can access it and display it. Serialized field means just you can see it in the inspector. So I have to add that text before we play the scene. Okay, so now let me play the scene. You see the text, it says some message in the middle of the screen. But now if I click the button, that should change to those numbers. So you see I click it and it changes. Okay, so that's how you add functions to buttons so that they do something. Now let's say we want to stop interacting with this button once we did something. Okay, so for that we need the button like that, and make sure you say here using Unity Engine UI, otherwise you cannot use the button. So for that, let me just delete this stuff, and for that you just say button interactable, it's false, so that will disable. Make button stop interaction button, and then you can say true if you want to enable. So enable interaction. But of course, this will keep the graphics of the button on the screen. If you want to disable that visually, you have to disable the whole object. So you would say that object set active false to disable the whole object. Okay, that was the button. Let's talk about the slider here. So I'll just make a slider. Okay, I'll resize it a little bit so it's visible. Okay, so this, what do you use this for? Okay, so this can be for many things. It can be for a loading screen, so a loading bar. It can be HP bar. Maybe you modify the volume in the game on some setting, stuff like that. So that's what this is for. And you see you can modify the but it's not very visible because the color is not correct. So here in the fill area, so in here you can decide what color this should be filled with. Let's say it's an HP bar, okay, and we want this to be red. So you go here in the fill area, fill here, the fill, make it red. Now if you go here and change that, oh wait, below here, you see you can, now it's red. So let's assume this is an HP bar. So like any other UI, this one has this rect transform, so the width, height, scale, rotation, stuff like that, anchors. Now you have the background here, which is right now white, but you can change that as well, you see, to any color. And then you have the fill, so that's what you fill this with, the color that is on top of the background. In this case it's red. Let's look at the slider component. So like buttons, this one has the interactable property, so you can decide if you can interact with it or not. You have the transition because when you click on it and move it, it had some visual effect. But then you have the important stuff here. This is very important. So here you decide in which direction this should be filled. So right now it's left to right, you see, but you can also say right to left, you see, like that, or top to bottom. Okay, usually you use this one, left to right, and then you can give it a minimum value and the maximum value. So let's say 0, let's say this slider represents the HP of a player. 0 means the player is dead, and then let's say we have 100 HP, like that. Okay. So that is now this value is a float right now, so it has decimals. But let's say this does not represent the HP in float, or wait, maybe that's not the greatest example. But what if this represents how many things you collected in a game, for example? Then you don't want this to be a float with decimals, and you want this to be a whole number, the value. So you click this here, whole numbers, and now you see these values are whole numbers now. So you can decide if you're working with floats or integers. And here you see you have the on value changed. So in here you can put some code that will happen when you change this slider. Okay. And I will show you now in the script. We'll delete this stuff. Oh, actually, let's keep that text here. So let's say here a public slider, some slider. So how to modify stuff in the script? So like the button, you have the interactable property. So this means you can interact with it. Let's say we want to disable, that means disable interaction with slider. Then we have the min value. So that's the minimum value possible. Let's say it's 0, and then you have the max value. Let's say 100, and then you have the value. So that's the current value. So let's put it in the middle like that. So that's how you change value, but you can say slider whole numbers. So here, let me just comment this. And then here enable integer values only. So you can say true here. And let's say we want to put a function on this slider that will change that text and display the value of the slider. Okay. So for, let's say, public void change text with slider, and here we just say that that text becomes slider value, and then so this will just put this text here, slide value plus the value of the slider. But if you do this, let's disable some stuff from here. So let's make this true. Yeah, I guess that's okay. So now we have to add these two elements here, the slider and the text, to our script. And now if you go to the slider and on value change, we select our object with the script, so the test script object, select our script, and then the function change text with slider. And now if you go and play this and drag that slider, the text should change to the value of the slider. So you see, now we move it, and whenever the value is changed, the text is updated. So that's how you place functions on sliders. So that's for sliders. Okay. Let's go into canvas groups. Okay. So for that, I will delete some stuff from here. Yes, let me delete all the stuff from the UI. So let me demonstrate what a canvas group is. I'll make a panel here, make it black. Okay, and then I'll add some image here. So image, like that, make that bigger, and some text, okay, to demonstrate this. And that text will say loading. Make sure it's a nice one. So let's say we have this loading screen like this, okay? How do we change the transparency of all the elements at the same time? Because right now, if you go to the panel here and we change the transparency, that's just the black part of this. So how do we do that? To do that, we place on the parent of all of these elements, we place a canvas group. So now the transparency, if you modify the transparency of the group, this will modify the transparency of all the elements. Okay, so it has this alpha value here, that's the transparency. So you see if it's 0, then that's transparent, and if it's 1, that's fully visible. Like any other, like the button and the slider, this one has the interactable property. So that means if this is checked, then we can interact with the images, with the UI elements that are children of this object, and also the object itself. So if I disable this, then we cannot interact. And blocks raycast, that means it blocks clicking. So in other words, if there is some UI below this, I cannot click it. Okay. Block clicking, raycast means blocks clicking basically. So that's how you do it. How you do loading, because you use a canvas group to modify this like that. How do you get this in the script? Let me delete the stuff. So you just say public canvas group, give it a name, and for the alpha to modify it, there are videos of me doing that. I will not go into that, how to do it over time, but if you want to modify the transparency, use the canvas group alpha. So this means not visible, and if it's 1, that's fully visible. How to select a value between these two over time, I will not go into that. So that's the canvas group. Let's see what else I can show you. We have layout group, that's important, okay? So let me disable this panel, this loading screen, and create an empty object in the canvas. Okay, like that. We place it in a corner. Let's say we have some hearts that represent the HP of the player. But 1 second, because unfortunately I do not have a heart image for that, unfortunately. Let's use this guy here. Where is it? Spikeball. Yeah, I do not have an image. We'll just use this guy here. So let's say layout group. Okay, let's say horizontal layout group. Okay. So this will be the HP layout group. Let's say. And now we make a children here with just an image, actually. And let's just add the image of this guy like that. Okay, so you see now we have this guy here, that this represents 1 HP, and let's duplicate this. So we have 3 HP. So this layout group here helps us place elements on the horizontal axis at equal distance. That's the only thing it does. So you can have padding, meaning these images have some offset. You see, like that. So you see, if I duplicate these images that are children of the layout group, they will be placed at equal distance to another. That you see. So that's a horizontal layout group. But let's duplicate this and change this from horizontal. Let me take that and resize. Actually, we need to wait. So that's vertical layout group. But let me show you the sorry, this is horizontal. Let me show you the vertical. How do we do this? Vertical layout group. Let me copy that. So that's the same, but it is vertical. You see, and here the spacing property is very important. This will represent how much space it is between these elements that are at equal distance. So you have that, and you also have another one. Let me show you the grid. So you have the grid layout group. So if I copy one of these and put it here, and I'll duplicate it. So this is grid. So it's vertical and horizontal as well. You see. So you have these things called layout groups. Let me delete those. Let's see what else. I see that I set here other. I guess we'll go into that another time. These are not that important. But of course, you have some other elements as well, like drop down. So with this one, you select a certain option. So let me play the scene so you can see. So it is what the name says. This is a drop down. You click this and you have options and you can select an option. That's what this is. And then there are other things as well. But let me delete the stuff from here, from the script, because it gives me an error. So that's almost everything you need to know about UI. One more thing you have. This is actually important. Actually, let me show you this because it is important. This is an input field, so you get input from the player here as text. Okay. So you have this enter text, so you can give it a default text here in the placeholder. Okay, so in the placeholder here you can have a default text, and then you have the input field setting somewhere in here. Yes. So you have the font, but where is the, yes, very important. You can place functions on this. So you have one value changed, like the slider. When you change your value, you can place some code here. On edit, so after you type something and you press enter, this happens here. On select, so when you select it, when you deselect it, so you can add functions like on buttons or sliders. I don't think I have to show you that. I showed that already. But there are some settings here important, but I cannot find them for some reason. Yes, so you see, you can decide what type of text this should hold. So standard means you can type whatever you want, but you also have integer numbers, so you can place just integer numbers, decimal numbers, so that means floats, alphanumeric meaning just numbers and letters, name, that means just letters, so just letters that you would find in a name. email address, password, and if you select password, then I think this will be covered by, so you cannot see the actual text if you put this as password. So you can decide what type of information is in here, and by script you can get that information that is here. And let me show you how to do that. So that's a TMP input field. Very simple. So let's say we want to know the text inside this that we type, that the player typed. For that, we just say, let's say string, the text is equal that input field that text. That's super simple. Just this is how you get whatever is inside the input field. Okay, I guess let's see. Do we have something else? No. Okay, that's it for the UI.